Hello children, welcome to the EVS2 class. So children, what are we doing? We were doing the lesson Winning Freedom, isn't it? We have started Winning Freedom and we have finished some very important topics of the lesson. So let's proceed with the lesson. Okay, so before going to the next topic, so this is the lesson we were doing, Winning Freedom. So sorry children, so before going to the next topic, let's do a quick recap. And if you remember children, in our last class we were doing some very important events in the course of India's struggle for freedom. We studied about the important events which occurred during the India's struggle for freedom, and these events were some turning points in the struggle for freedom. And what was there? First, it was the 1917 Champaran Satyagraha, where the farmer and mill workers, they did, they protested against the British as they were being paid low salary. And what was the result? In Champaran, Gandhi used Satyagraha for the first time during the freedom struggle to protest against the British. Then the next incident is 1919. It's the Jallianwala Bagh massacre, okay, or the Jallianwala Bagh killing. And what was the cause? A very large group of people gathered at the Jallianwala Bagh in Amritsar for a protest, and General Dyer, the British official, opened fire on them without warning. Then next is the result. What was the result? Thousands of people, including children, were killed and wounded. This angered and shocked the Indians and marked a turning point in the freedom struggle. So, next again we'll go to the next two important events which we have studied. Non-cooperation movement. The British sold their goods, and when did the non-cooperation movement take place? In the year 1920. So what happened? The British sold their goods in Indian markets. We all know they used to do this, and the Indian people, okay, the Indian leaders were worried that this would not allow Indians to develop their own industries. So what happened? The leaders asked people not to use foreign goods. For example, sweet makers refused to use foreign sugar. This was the first act of Satyagraha organized on a large scale. Then we come to 1922, the Chori Chora incident. A group of protesters became violent and clashed with the police. The police opened fire on them, and the angry crowd, what they did, they set the police station on fire. So what was the result? Since the movement turned to be a violent movement, Gandhiji called off the movement. He believed in non-violence, but the movement turned to be violent, so he called off the movement. So we have studied about the four important events in the struggle for freedom. Now today we'll study about two more important events. And what are those? Let's see. They are first the Lahore session of Congress. Okay, first is the Lahore, and what was it there? It was there. It happened in the year 1929. Lahore. Where is Lahore? Lahore is in, yes, it is in Pakistan. Okay, Lahore is a place in Pakistan. So before, India and Pakistan were same only. So the sessions of Congress did not happen. They did not happen only in India. They took place in Pakistan also. So Lahore session of Congress, what happened? What was the cause? The Congress was to elect a new president to continue leading the freedom struggle. The Congress people wanted to elect a new president. Okay, they wanted a new president. So they asked people to vote, okay, in the Lahore session of Congress. And you know who got elected? It was our first Prime Minister of India. What is his name, children? Yes, very good. It is Jawaharlal Nehru. Okay, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. So it was the first time Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru came into the scene of the Indian independence, and he became the president of the Lahore session of Congress. Okay, in that session he got elected and he became the president of the Congress, and he was there all the time, and we all know he became the first Prime Minister of India. So the Congress And in this session only, the Congress asked for Purna Swaraj or complete freedom. Before the Congress were, they were protesting against the inhuman treatment, the unkind treatment, the cruel treatment of the British. They were protesting against the low wages paid to the workers and everything. But this time, for the first time, what they did, they protested against they asked for complete freedom. Means you give the country of India to Indian people and you leave India. Who should leave? The British people. So next we come to 1930. You can see 1930. Just a second, children. 1930 is the Dandi March. And what happened in Dandi March, I'll tell you. So children, this is the Lahore session of Congress. And in the Lahore session of Congress, you can see this is the session of Congress which took place in the Lahore, and you can see people how they gathered there. Okay, and who is there presiding over the mic? He was presiding over the meeting. You can see the back side, but you can make it out that it is Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Okay, so he was presiding over the Lahore session of Congress after being elected as the president of the Congress. Okay, now we come to Dandi March. What is the importance of Dandi March? Dandi March is also very important. And why? Dandi March, what is the cause? The British stopped Indians from making sold important salt at higher price. Now what happened? The British, they stopped Indians from making salt. Okay, first, if you remember, the British stopped people from cultivating crops and they asked people to cultivate indigo plants, if you remember. Now what they did, the British stopped Indians from making salt. And what they did, they used to bring salt from outside the country and they used to sell at higher prices to the people of India. So what Gandhi did, Gandhi marched to Dandi. Okay, Dandi is a place in Gujarat and made salt. He was arrested for breaking the salt laws. Many other Indians did the same and were put in prison. So Gandhi, he marched to the place called Dandi. That's why it's called Dandi March, because till Dandi, a big group of people, they marched to Dandi, which is a place in Gujarat, and there Gandhi made salt, and along with him also many people made salt. And he was arrested for breaking the laws. For breaking what? For breaking the salt laws. Okay, not just any law, but by making salt, because British has banned the Indians for making salt. So many other Indians along with Gandhi they were put in prison. Okay children, so let's see picture. You can see here the Dandi March. Okay, people marching. You can see on the left hand side also, on the right hand side also. You can see the left hand side is a picture from your textbook only, and on the right hand side also you can see Gandhi marching. Okay, and so many people are following him to Dandi to make salt. And finally, when Gandhi reached Dandi, he made salt. You can see the picture. Okay, he has made the salt and he was arrested for that. So let's see what are the new words, children. The new words are elect, imported and prison. And this new words also I'll upload in the Google Classroom. You'll write from there. Then we have question number 1 is during this session. Thinking question, okay. During this session, which session we don't know. Jawaharlal Nehru was elected as the president of the Congress. Can you identify the session? Very easy. I know you know the answer. You write it down as homework. I'll upload it in the Google Classroom for 1 mark. This is. Then question number 2. Nehru was arrested for breaking the salt laws. Is the statement correct? Which word is incorrect in the statement? Identify it and correct it. So Nehru was arrested for breaking the salt laws. Is the statement correct? Okay. Which word is incorrect in the statement? You'll have to identify it and correct it. And lastly, we have the homework question. Which event took place in the year 1930? What was the cause and result of the event? All these questions along with the new words, I'll upload it in the Google Classroom. You will write it from there, and whatever I have explained, you please go through it. In the next class, I'll be asking them. In the live class special, I'll be asking about the new words. Okay, so children, have a good day and bye bye.